What happens when you take expensive wine that nobody wants and stick it in a freezer? Well, grab some popcorn because we're about to dive into the most talked about food flop of the year. You guys, I cannot believe we're living in a timeline where frozen wine popsicles are being sold as luxury lifestyle content. But here we are, and I have thoughts. So picture this, you're scrolling Instagram, minding your own business, when suddenly you're hit with what can only be described as the most try-hard summer post of 2024. We're talking about rosé popsicles, but not just any rosé popsicles. These are being marketed as some kind of revolutionary culinary experience. The caption? Oh, it's peak Pinterest energy from 2012. What's better than a glass of rosé on a sunny day? Rosé popsicles perchance? Yes, please and thank you. I literally felt my soul leave my body reading that. Who talks like that in 2024? Now, I'm all for innovation in the food and drink space. I love when brands get creative and try new things. But this? This ain't it, chief. First off, let's address the obvious elephant in the room, the color. You know what rosé is supposed to look like, right? It should have that beautiful pink blush that makes you think of summer evenings and good times. But these popsicles? They're giving me prison cafeteria vibes. It's like someone took all the life and color out of what should be a vibrant, appealing drink. And don't even get me started on those mystery berries floating around in there. Are those supposed to be botanical infusions? Because they look more like something you'd fish out of a drink that's been sitting too long at a bad wedding reception. Here's what's really bothering me about this whole situation, and it's not just about popsicles. It's about the bigger picture of how certain brands operate in 2024. Think about it. When you launch a wine brand with massive fanfare and PR buzz, what's supposed to happen? It should sell out, right? People should be excited, talking about it, sharing it with friends. That's basic brand marketing 101. But when your wine doesn't perform the way you expected, what do? Well, apparently, you stick it in a freezer and call it innovation. This feels like when you're at a restaurant and they try to pass off yesterday's bread as artisanal croutons. Like, we see what you're doing here, and it's not cute. Let's talk strategy for a second because this is actually a fascinating case study in how not to handle a product launch. The whole while supplies last angle? Come on. We're not stupid. When you've got inventory sitting around for weeks after launch, that tagline becomes more embarrassing than enticing. It's like putting a going out of business sign on a store that just opened. And the aesthetic choices, why does everything look so beige? Rosé is supposed to be this beautiful, Instagram-worthy pink that makes you want to post pictures and tag your friends. Instead, we got something that looks like it belongs in a hospital vending machine. This whole situation is actually a perfect example of what's wrong with celebrity brand culture right now. There's this assumption that if you slap a famous name on something and make it look pretty for Instagram, people will automatically want it. But here's the thing, consumers are smarter than that now. We can spot authentic passion projects versus obvious cash grabs from a mile away. And when you're clearly trying to salvage a failed launch by turning it into popsicles, that's not innovation, that's desperation.